There are people in this world who give so freely, they forget to save something for themselves. Ada was one of them. She worked as an administrative assistant at a busy corporate office in Lagos, the kind of place where ambition lived in glass towers and kindness was often mistaken for weakness. Ada was 28, bright-eyed, with a smile that could soften the hardest Monday morning. She arrived before everyone else, not because her contract required it, but because she believed in going the extra mile. The office coffee machine hummed to life under her hands. Reports that colleagues forgot to finish somehow appeared completed on their desks by noon. "You're a lifesaver, Ada," people would say, rushing past with grateful waves. And she'd smile, her heart warm with purpose. This was who she was, the helper, the reliable one, the woman who never said no. Her mother had raised her this way. "A good woman lifts others," Mama would say. "Your kindness is your crown." Ada wore that crown proudly. But kindness, when given without limits, becomes a door that everyone walks through, some with gratitude, others with greed. Her desk told the story. While others left at 5 o'clock sharp, Ada stayed until 8, sometimes 9, finishing work that wasn't hers. Files with other people's names. Presentations she'd never been credited for. Emergencies that somehow always found her. She told herself it was temporary. That eventually, people would notice. That her hard work would speak for itself. She didn't know yet that some people don't see kindness as a gift. They see it as permission. And permission, once given, is hard to take back. The exploitation didn't announce itself with sirens. It crept in slowly, wrapped in smiles and just this once promises. Tunde was the first. Senior colleague. Sharp dresser. The kind of man who could talk his way out of anything. He had a corner office and a reputation for closing deals, though no one quite knew how much work he actually did. Every week, like clockwork, he'd appear at Ada's desk. "Ada, you're brilliant with numbers. Can you run the analysis for the Martins account? I've got back-to-back meetings all day." The meetings were real enough, long lunches, golf with clients, strategy sessions that looked more like social hours. But the work? That landed on Ada's desk. At first, she felt honored. Tunde was senior. Surely this was mentorship, collaboration, a sign she was valued. Until she saw her analysis presented in the boardroom with Tunde's name on every slide. Her insights. His credit. Then there was Kioma. Younger, bubbly, always laughing too loud. She and Ada had started around the same time, but while Ada worked late, Kioma left early, claiming family emergencies that seemed to occur weekly. Their friendship had begun innocently, shared lunches, office gossip, the easy camaraderie of women navigating corporate Lagos. "Ada, I forgot my purse. Can you spot me for lunch? I'll pay you back tomorrow." Tomorrow became next week. Next week became never. 2,000 naira here. 3,000 there. Small amounts that added up to a weight Ada couldn't ignore when her own rent came due. But the worst was Mr. Obinna. Their manager. 40-something, balding, with a smile that never quite reached his eyes. In meetings, he praised Ada publicly. This team wouldn't function without her dedication. Applause. Nods. Jealous glances from colleagues. But privately, in his office, he piled her desk with assignments that had nothing to do with her role. "Ada, I need you to coordinate the annual conference. And handle the vendor negotiations. And review the budget reports. You're so capable, I know you can manage." No raise. No promotion. Just more work. Ada's own projects, the strategic proposals she drafted, the improvements she wanted to implement, gathered dust in her drawer, buried under everyone else's urgency. 3 months blurred into each other. Ada's alarm went off at 5:30 a.m. She was in the office by 7 o'clock. She left after 8 p.m. most nights. Her social life had become a memory. Friends stopped inviting her out. "You're always busy," they'd say, and she couldn't argue. One Friday afternoon, the company newsletter landed in her inbox. Cue 3-star performers. She scrolled through, curious. Tunde's name appeared 3 times, commended for strategic analysis, innovative client solutions, exemplary project management. Every single one was work Ada had done. Kioma was praised for meeting tight deadlines with grace under pressure. Grace that Ada had provided by staying late to help her finish. Ada's name appeared once, at the bottom, administrative support, Ada Okafor. Support. As if her contributions were background noise. She closed her laptop, her hands trembling. That evening, she did something she rarely did, she checked her bank account. The numbers didn't lie. Between covering Kioma's lunches, lending money for the emergencies, and picking up tabs when colleagues forgot their wallets, Ada had spent over 53,000 naira in 2 months. Money she needed for rent. For groceries. For herself. Her phone buzzed. Rosa, her childhood friend. Ada. My birthday dinner is tomorrow at 7. You're coming, right? It's been months. Ada stared at the message. Tomorrow was Saturday, but she'd already promised Mr. Obinna she'd come in to finish the conference budget. She typed, I'm so sorry, Rosa. I have to work. I'll make it up to you. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Rosa didn't reply. Ada lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling. When was the last time she'd done something for herself? Gone to the movies? Read a book? Slept past 5 a.m.? She couldn't remember. A small voice whispered in her mind, maybe you're being too sensitive. Maybe this is just how offices work. Maybe you're not working hard enough. She pushed the thought down. But it didn't stay down for long. The explosion came on a Tuesday. Mr. Obinna called an emergency meeting. His face was thunderous. The Prescott deal fell through, he announced. The client said our presentation was incomplete. Sloppy. Unprofessional. Silence filled the conference room. Who was responsible for the financial analysis? Tunde shifted in his chair, suddenly interested in his pen. I delegated that section to Ada. I assumed she understood the scope. All eyes turned to her. Ada's stomach dropped. Tunde, you gave me partial data and asked for a preliminary overview. You said you'd handle the final presentation. Tunde spread his hands. I thought you knew this was for the client. I trusted you to be thorough. Mr. Obinna's jaw tightened. Ada, this is extremely disappointing. I expected better from you. The words were knives. After the meeting, Ada sat frozen at her desk. Her hands shook. Her chest felt tight. Kioma appeared, looking frazzled. Ada, I need your help. The Williams report is due in 2 hours and I'm completely lost. Can you? No. The word came out sharper than Ada intended. Kioma blinked. What? I can't help you, Kioma. I have my own work to finish. But you always help me. Not today. Kioma's face hardened. Wow. One bad day and suddenly you're too good to help your friends. She walked away, muttering loud enough for others to hear. I thought we were close. Guess I was wrong. Ada stared at her computer screen, vision blurring. For the first time in months, maybe years, she felt something other than kindness. She felt rage. Ada left work early that day. A first. She found herself at Rosa's door, unannounced. Rosa opened it, surprised. Ada. I'm sorry I missed your birthday. Rosa pulled her inside. Talk to me. And Ada did. Everything spilled out, the sleepless nights, the stolen credit, the money never returned, the blame for work she hadn't been responsible for. Rosa listened, her expression shifting from surprise to anger to sadness. When Ada finished, Rosa leaned forward. Ada, you're one of the kindest people I know. But kindness isn't supposed to destroy you. I just wanted to help. I know. But there's a difference between helping and being used. Ada shook her head. If I say no, they'll think I'm selfish. Difficult. Unkind. Then let them think that, Rosa said firmly. Because right now, you're drowning. And the people pulling you under? They're not even getting wet. The words landed like truth. What do I do? Rosa took her hand. You set boundaries. You help, but on your terms. You stop being everyone's safety net. But what if they hate me? Then they never valued you in the first place. They valued what you could do for them. Ada sat with that. That night, she couldn't sleep. She opened her laptop and started typing. A document. Every report she'd written. Every project she'd completed. Every late night, every weekend sacrificed. Then she drafted an email to Mr. Obinna. I'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss my workload and responsibilities. I've attached documentation for your review. Her cursor hovered over send. She thought of Tunde's smug face. Kyoma's entitlement. Mr. Obinna's empty praise. She thought of Rosa's words, they're not even getting wet. She clicked send. And exhaled. Monday morning felt different. Ada arrived at her usual time, but she didn't brew coffee for the office. She didn't ask if anyone needed help. She opened her own project files, the one she'd neglected for weeks, and started working. At 9:30, Tunde appeared. Morning, Ada. Quick favor, can you review this proposal before my 10 o'clock? Ada kept typing. I'm working on my quarterly review, Tunde. I don't have time. He frowned. It'll only take 20 minutes. Then you have time to do it yourself. Silence. Seriously? Seriously. Tunde walked away, muttering something about attitudes. At lunch, Kyoma approached with her usual bright smile, wallet conspicuously absent. Ada, can you? No, Kyoma. You still owe me from the last 4 times. Kyoma's smile vanished. You're really going to be petty about money. I'm being honest. You borrowed. You didn't pay back. That's not petty, that's facts. Wow. Kyoma's voice dripped with sarcasm. Good to know where I stand. She walked away. By afternoon, the whispers had started. What's wrong with Ada? She's being so cold. She used to be nice. Ada heard them. And for the first time, she didn't care. At 4 p.m., Mr. Obinna called her into his office. He leaned back, studying her. I received your email. You feel you're being overworked. I don't feel it, sir. I know it. She slid a printed report across his desk. I've documented every task I've completed in the last 3 months. 60% were outside my job description. Mr. Obinna scanned the document, his expression unreadable. I'll review this. Thank you, sir. As Ada left, she felt something unfamiliar. Power. 2 weeks later, cracks began to show. Tunde's big presentation, the one he'd tried to delegate to Ada, went disastrously wrong. He'd rushed through it himself, cutting corners, missing key data. The client wasn't impressed. Mr. Obinna was less so. Tunde, this is the second major failure in a month. What's going on? Tunde had no answer. Meanwhile, Kyoma's work suffered without Ada's quiet rescues. Deadline slipped. Quality dropped. Kyoma, your performance has declined significantly, Mr. Obinna noted during a review. Is something wrong? Kyoma wanted to blame Ada but couldn't without admitting her dependence. While they struggled, Ada thrived. She'd volunteered for a high-visibility project, a strategic partnership proposal that required research, analysis, and presentation skills. She worked late, but this time for herself. The presentation was flawless. Ada, this is exceptional work, Mr. Obinna said in the management meeting. Your analysis could save us significant costs while expanding our market reach. The senior managers nodded approvingly. Tunde's face darkened. Kioma looked away. Ada simply smiled. Because she no longer needed their approval. She had her own. By month's end, the announcement came. This quarter's Employee of the Month goes to Ada Okafor for exceptional strategic thinking, dedication, and leadership. Applause filled the conference room. Colleagues approached her desk all day. Congratulations, Ada. Well deserved. Even Kioma mumbled, congrats, though her smile didn't reach her eyes. Tunde said nothing. That evening, Rosa called, squealing. I heard. Employee of the Month. I'm so proud. Ada laughed. It feels surreal. Why? You earned it. I know. But I'm the same person. I just stopped letting people use me. Exactly, Rosa said. You set boundaries, and people had to respect them. That's not mean, that's self-respect. That night, Ada looked at herself in the bathroom mirror. The woman staring back looked the same. Same face. Same eyes. But something had changed. Not hardness. Not coldness. Strength. She was still kind. Still helpful. But now her kindness came with limits. And those limits made all the difference. 3 days later, Tunde appeared at her desk. He looked uncomfortable. Ada, can I talk to you? She nodded, closing her laptop. I wanted to apologize. For how I treated you. I took advantage, and that wasn't fair. Ada studied him. His apology seemed genuine, but time would tell. I appreciate that, Tunde. He shifted his weight. I have a new project coming up. Big client. High stakes. I was wondering if you'd be willing to collaborate. Officially. With shared credit and compensation. The old Ada would have said yes immediately, grateful to be needed. The new Ada asked questions. What's the scope? What's my role specifically? Will my contributions be documented in writing? Tunde blinked. Yes. Absolutely. I'll send you a formal proposal by end of day. Then I'll review it and let you know. He nodded, looking both relieved and different. He respected her now. Not because she was nice. Because she had boundaries. After he left, Ada allowed herself a small smile. Setting boundaries hadn't made her a villain. It had made her a professional. Weeks became months. Ada continued to help people, but strategically. She said no when necessary. She asked for credit when earned. She protected her time like the valuable resource it was. And something remarkable happened, people respected her more, not less. Kioma eventually repaid the borrowed money, in full, with a sheepish apology. I didn't realize how much I was asking of you. I'm sorry. Ada accepted gracefully. Thank you for making it right. Tunde's collaboration went smoothly. For the first time, Ada's name appeared alongside his on the final report, and in the meeting, he publicly acknowledged her contributions. Mr. Obinna began consulting Ada on strategic decisions, recognizing her value far beyond administrative tasks. One evening, as Ada packed her bag to leave at exactly 5:30 p.m., her phone rang. Rosa. Dinner tonight. Ada smiled. Yes. I'm free. Look at you, having a life outside work. It's still strange. But good. At the restaurant, over jollof rice and plantains, Rosa raised her glass. To Ada. The woman who learned that kindness and boundaries aren't enemies, they're partners. Ada clinked her glass against Rosa's. To boundaries. To boundaries. That night, driving home through Lagos traffic, Ada felt something she hadn't in years. Peace. Not the kind that comes from making everyone happy. The kind that comes from respecting yourself enough to protect what matters. 6 months after her transformation, Mr. O'Binner called Ada into his office. She walked in calmly, no longer bracing for extra assignments. Ada, we're creating a new position. Team lead for strategic projects. I'd like to offer it to you. Ada's breath caught. Team lead. You've demonstrated leadership, strategic thinking, and the ability to command respect. The role comes with a significant salary increase and your own team. The old Ada would have downplayed herself, asked if she was really qualified, deferred to someone more senior. The new Ada simply said, "Thank you, Mr. O'Binner. I accept." He smiled. Good. You start next month. HR will send the details. As she left, Tunde was waiting in the hallway. Congratulations, he said. And this time, there was no sarcasm. Just genuine respect. Thank you. That evening, Ada called her mother. Mama, I got promoted to team lead. Her mother's voice swelled with pride. I knew you would, my daughter. I always knew. Mama, I almost lost myself trying to make everyone happy. Her mother was quiet for a moment. Your kindness is still your crown, Ada. But a crown means nothing if the head wearing it is bowed. Ada smiled, tears pricking her eyes. I'm not bowing anymore, Mama. Good. Stand tall. You've earned it. That night, Ada stood on her balcony, watching the Lagos skyline shimmer. She thought about the woman she'd been, always giving, always bending, always terrified of disappointing anyone. And the woman she'd become, still kind, still generous, but no longer afraid. The difference wasn't cruelty. It was clarity. With her new role came new tests. As team lead, Ada now managed people, including Tunde and Kayoma. The first team meeting was pivotal. Ada stood at the head of the table, calm but firm. I want to establish how this team will operate. We collaborate. We communicate. We respect deadlines. And we give credit where it's due. Tunde leaned back in his chair, testing the waters. And if we disagree with your approach? Ada met his eyes. Then you bring data, not opinions. I'm open to better ideas, but they need to be backed by evidence. He nodded slowly. Message received. Kayoma tried a different tactic. Ada, I know we're friends, so I'm sure you'll understand if I need some flexibility with deadlines. We're colleagues first, Ada interrupted gently but firmly. Deadlines exist for the team's success, not individual convenience. If you need an extension, you submit a formal request with justification. Friendship doesn't change professional standards. Kayoma's smile faltered. But she nodded. Over the following weeks, the team adjusted. They learned that Ada's kindness hadn't disappeared. She still helped, still mentored, still encouraged. But she also held people accountable. One afternoon, a new junior colleague, Bowler, knocked nervously on her office door. Ma, I'm really struggling with the market analysis. I don't know where to start. Ada could have simply done it for her, the old Ada would have. Instead, she said, let's schedule an hour tomorrow morning. Come prepared with your questions and what you've tried so far. I'll guide you, but you'll do the work. Bowler's face lit up. Thank you, Ma. Rosa, visiting for lunch, had watched the exchange. Look at you, she said, grinning. Teaching people to fish instead of just giving them fish. Ada laughed. I learned the hard way. Now I'm making sure others don't have to. That's real leadership. Not everyone celebrated Ada's rise. Mrs. Adeyemi, a senior manager, had always seen Ada as just an assistant, someone useful for grunt work, not strategic thinking. When Ada presented a cost reduction proposal at a management meeting, Mrs. Adeyemi interrupted. With all due respect, Ada, do you really have the experience for this level of decision-making? The room tensed. Ada remained composed. I've been managing strategic projects for 8 months with measurable results. My proposal on the Zenith account increased client retention by 18% and reduced operational costs by 12%. I'm confident in this recommendation, and I have the data to support it. She clicked to the next slide, displaying clear metrics. Mr. Obinna nodded. Ada's track record speaks for itself, Mrs. Adeyemi. Mrs. Adeyemi said nothing more, but her expression was tight. After the meeting, Mr. Obinna pulled Ada aside. Well handled. Some people will test you because they're not used to seeing you in power. Don't let it shake you. I won't, sir. Walking back to her office, Ada realized something. She wasn't angry at Mrs. Adeyemi. She understood. People who'd only seen her as a helper would struggle to see her as a leader. But that was their problem, not hers. She'd earned her seat at that table. And she wasn't giving it up. A year after her transformation, Ada received a message that made her pause. From Kioma. Ada, I need to tell you something. When you stopped enabling me, I was furious. I thought you'd become mean. But it forced me to actually learn my job, to take responsibility. I just got promoted to senior associate. I couldn't have done it without your tough love. Thank you. Ada read it twice, her eyes misting. She replied, I'm so proud of you, Kioma. You did the work. I just stopped doing it for you. That takes real growth. That same week, Tunde invited her to lunch. I wanted to thank you, he said over pepper soup. For not letting me coast on your work. I'm actually good at my job now, I just needed to do it myself. Ada smiled. We've both grown. As she walked back to the office, Ada thought about an important truth. By protecting herself, she hadn't hurt people. She'd helped them become better. True kindness isn't about making life easy for others. It's about empowering them to rise on their own. Enabling weakness isn't love, it's sabotage disguised as care. 2 years after it all began, Ada stood before a conference room full of young professionals. She'd been invited to speak at a women's leadership workshop. Topic: Kindness and boundaries in the workplace. She looked at the eager faces, many of them young women who reminded her of her former self. I used to believe that kindness meant always saying yes, Ada began. That being helpful meant sacrificing myself. That boundaries were selfish. She paused, making eye contact around the room. I was wrong. She told them her story, not with bitterness, but with hard-won wisdom. The late nights. The stolen credit. The money never returned. The moment she nearly broke. And then, the decision to change. Kindness is a strength, she said. But strength without boundaries becomes weakness. When you give endlessly without protecting yourself, you teach people that your value has no limit, that you can be used without consequence. A young woman in the front row was crying silently, nodding. Setting boundaries doesn't make you unkind. It makes you wise. It teaches people to respect you. And most importantly, it teaches you to respect yourself. Ada's voice softened. You can be kind and strong. Generous and protected. Helpful and self-preserved. These aren't opposites, they're partners. The kindest thing you can do for others is to model self-respect. Because people who don't value themselves can't truly value others. After the talk, women lined up to speak with her. Some cried. Some shared their own stories. Some just hugged her. Thank you, one whispered. I thought I was the only one. You're not, Ada said. And you don't have to be the sacrificial lamb to be a good person. Driving home that evening, Ada thought about the journey. From the woman who said yes to everything, to the woman who chose herself. She'd learned the hardest lesson. Kindness is strength. But strength without boundaries can be weakness. Protect your peace, command respect, and remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Fill yourself first. The right people will understand. The wrong ones will leave. And that's not loss, that's liberation. Ada smiled. She was finally, truly free.